I go in the buffet. Normally it's a quiet place. It's off a highway, okay? Nice people. No one bothers you. I walk in, I get my plate, and there's a table of four, I don't know how to describe them, all very, very gray-haired oldsters, a little older than me, but all gray and old. And they're loud, so loud it's shocking, and they're putting down Israel. Did you know the New York Times wrote in 1967 the Israelis went in and used gas on the Palestinians? I couldn't believe what I was listening to. Now, it was not a private conversation in that she was screaming so that everyone had to listen to her. I know this type of troublemaking liberal. I've seen them all over the Bay Area my whole life. They look like they're nice people, but they're the type that brought Hitler to power. They look like they're nice people, but they're fascists in their heart. They look like nice old people, but they're the most troublemaking people in society. They're usually members of the League of Women Voters. They're far-left radicals. They supported Barbara Boxer. They look at the other way when Barbara Boxer's scandals emerge on the land redevelopment schemes that her and her family's been involved in. They've looked the other way on Obama's scandals. And what do they attack? Who do they attack? Not Muslims cutting people's heads off, not Muslims killing homosexuals, but how bad the Israelis were. So I listened to it and my blood started to boil, and I said, look, I'm a public figure. I really shouldn't say anything. But she was louder. Now, these are very old people. But she's screaming and bothering everyone in the restaurant. So I looked at them and I said, I'm a Zionist and you can all go to hell. And I walk into the next room and sit down and I eat my chicken and curry. And my blood starts to boil. I'm about finishing my meal when a young man walks in, kind of trepidatiously. And he says, Michael Savage? I said, yes. He said, I've been listening to you for years. I said, good for you. Thank you for your listenership. And he says, you know, I was listening to what went on there. Don't you believe in free speech? I said, I certainly do. I live by it. He said, well, they were just exercising their free speech. I said, that's right, but so am I, by expressing my opinion to them. He said, well, don't you think there's room in our society for several different opinions? I said, absolutely, but when I go to a restaurant, if I express any political opinions at all, they're sort of whispered. I don't inflict them on people. I said, this is not a radio station that someone can turn off. There were other people around them trying to eat. And I was one of the other people offended by them, so I reacted. And one word leads to the other, and he says to me, my name is Mustafa Habatashima, like a Muslim name. I said, well, that's very interesting. I said to him, I said, you know what's interesting? I said, is that most Muslims who listen to my show agree with me on social issues. He says, are you saying to me I'm a Muslim? I said, no. I said, most people who listen to my show who are Muslim disagree with me on the Middle East and agree with me on social issues because we think the same way. Well, it ended on that note. But the point is, wherever you are, you must speak out. If you hear someone lying, if you hear someone defacing America, if you hear someone defaming America, then you got to get up and tell them you're offended, and you'll change America, whether it's on a supermarket line, a restaurant, a PTA meeting, it doesn't matter where. Don't let these, quote, nice liberals roll you over like a steamroller, because they do it every time.